You ever look at someone's financial habits and just think, that makes no sense? They're obsessed with saving for a rainy day, but then they'll drop a ton of money on a concert ticket. Well, it's a paradox that actually makes perfect sense once you pull back the curtain on a very specific money mindset. A playbook written not by spreadsheets, but by history, psychology, and, yeah, a healthy dose of skepticism.
You've probably seen this, right? People who save like the world is about to end, but they'll spend whatever it takes to create a great memory. On the surface, it seems totally illogical. But there's this powerful psychological current running underneath it all, and it actually tells us a lot about how all of us think about money. So for this, we're going to use Generation X as our case study. These are the folks born roughly between 1965 and 1980. They grew up in a really unique economic storm that basically hardwired a very specific set of financial instincts into their brains. And understanding their playbook, it gives us incredible insight into how our own money stories get written, a lot of times without us even realizing it. So, what's really going on in their heads? Well, it pretty much boils down to 3 core psychological drivers. And once you get these, almost every financial decision they make, from saving to spending, it all starts to make perfect rational sense. Let's break them down. Okay, first up is something called defensive pessimism. Now, this isn't just about being gloomy. It's a genuine strategy. It's that little voice in your head that's always saying, a recession is probably coming, so I better have 6 months of cash just sitting there, just in case. This is exactly why they are so comfortable with having big piles of liquid cash ready to go. Paired with that pessimism is a really powerful scarcity mindset. This is that bone-deep belief that nothing is guaranteed and resources are, well, finite. It explains why Gen X is famously allergic to credit card debt. They see it as a trap that just steals your freedom, and it's the engine behind their love of side hustles. You don't just rely on your one employer, you rely on yourself. And the final piece of the puzzle is loss aversion. Here's a wild thing about our brains. Psychologists have proven that we feel the pain of a loss about twice as intensely as we feel the joy of an equivalent gain. For Gen X, this translates into a deep, deep suspicion of anything that sounds too good to be true. They are way more focused on not losing money than they are on chasing some huge, risky payday. So you take this psychological cocktail, right? A dash of pessimism, a dose of scarcity, and a strong aversion to loss. But what does that actually look like as their wealth grows? Well, it turns out the fears and the motivations kind of evolve. They face different devils at each stage of the financial journey. Let's start at the $10,000 mark. This is that first real financial footing. You're past zero, you're starting to build a foundation. It should feel like progress, shouldn't it? But here's the disconnect. The financial fact is good. An emergency fund exists, but the Gen X psychological feeling? It's pure anxiety. It's not a celebration. It's just constantly scanning the horizon, waiting for the other shoe to drop. That money isn't for thriving, it's for surviving. Okay, now let's jump up to $100,000. That's a huge milestone. Retirement accounts are looking pretty healthy. Maybe there are some other investments. Objectively, by any standard, you are doing well. And yet, that psychology holds on tight. The fact is, retirement savings are on track. But the feeling is one of complete distrust. This is where that scarcity mindset and loss aversion kick in hard. They'd rather spend hours managing their own investments because, in their mind, no one, no advisor, no institution is going to protect their money as fiercely as they will. All right, so what about a really significant level of wealth? $500,000, maybe more? At this point, financial security isn't just a goal, it's a reality. This is where you should finally be able to just relax, right? But that core programming, it doesn't just switch off. Instead of breathing a sigh of relief, the question just becomes, okay, how do I fortify this position? The focus shifts to building even more moats around the castle. That engine of self-reliance just keeps running, no matter how much fuel is in the tank. So this internal psychology creates a very specific and highly actionable real-world financial plan. And it's really built on 2 pillars: kill any threats and build personal resilience at all costs. Just take a look at how they approach debt. It's not casual. It's a full-blown military campaign. First, you identify the enemy, all the debts. Then you map a strategy to eliminate it. You attack with relentless focus. And once it's gone, any new debt is treated like a trap because it's the ultimate threat to your independence. And their strategy for self-reliance is all about diversification. It's never just about the main job. To them, That's a single point of failure. The real goal is to build an income stack. You've got your main gig, sure, but you also have a side hustle and you have your own investment returns. Each slice is another layer of security that you and only you control. So all of this, the obsessive saving, the hatred of debt, the constant side hustles, it really begs the question, what is the end goal here? If $500,000 doesn't bring peace of mind, then what does rich even mean to them? And here it is. This is the crucial point. The ultimate goal was never a specific number in a bank account. It's about achieving a state of being, independence. It's having enough resources to be completely free from systems, whether that's a corporate job or the wider economy, that they just fundamentally do not trust. Money is simply the tool you use to buy that freedom. Now, while we've been using Gen X as our case study, these principles are totally universal. Your relationship with money isn't just about spreadsheets and budgets. It's a story. And it's a story that's written by your personal history, your own gut feelings about risk, what security really means to you, and especially how you process that fear of losing something. And that brings us to the final and most important question. Gen X's script was written by their environment. So take a moment and look at your own financial habits, your anxieties, your goals, and ask yourself, what hidden script is writing your story?